Dawngate. As this match begins, a problem occurs to me, and a huge one at that. 2 people want to go to the jungle, 2 people want to be hunters. And while that's absolutely okay, and it can work in this game quite well, there are only 5 people and 2 lanes. So with 2 people in the jungle, that leaves 3 people for 2 lanes, which means one of the lanes is either going to get no people at all, which is horrible and an idea you shouldn't even consider seriously, or you get split the usual way with 2 people in one lane and 1 person in the other, so someone has to solo lane, and laning solo is quite difficult. I wanted to play Viana. Viana is excellent at supporting. She's focused around healing people around her, healing people she's in lane with, but I will not be able to do so.
We balance on the tip of a blade. I won't permit a fall into chaos.
Since no one wanted to pick the second gladiator, and you kinda need a gladiator per lane, or at least it's nice to have a gladiator per lane, I decided to be the second gladiator, and I decided to pick Fenmore. I'm not great at playing Fenmore. I wasn't great at playing Fenmore, I guess I should say, considering the fact that the game no longer exists in playable form. But I will attempt to do so in this video anyway. Fenmore is tough to play. He is a mage that gains power as he loses health, which, as you might imagine, is a difficult thing to balance. Because yes, you want to be more powerful, but you do not want to lose health. Moreover, it's not just that. To use his powers, he needs to spend health. That's kinda his resource. He doesn't have mana, he doesn't operate just on cooldowns, he actually spends his health. And of course he has lifesteal on his abilities. And I will bolster that with both the stuff, my loadout, the stuff I picked before the match, and stuff I will buy within the match. First thing I get is hunger, which gives me a bit of lifesteal. I will need that to survive. Of course your abilities offer to give you some health back, within reason and based on certain conditions.
Students shall arrive in 30 seconds.
From what I can remember, my wolf, my E, runs and then deals damage, and as it comes back you can pick it up again. And if you catch it, which you don't necessarily have to, if you catch it on its way back, you regain some of the damage it has dealt as health. But if you don't catch your wolf on its way back, well, all of that goes wasted. Of course the damage still gets dealt, but you don't get the health return, which you kinda need. And if you keep missing, if you keep not getting your wolves on their way back, or if the wolves do not deal enough damage to heal you on the way back, you just might end up slowly but surely killing yourself. Of course, as I've mentioned, as you get lower and lower on health, you get more and more powerful, so you're just balancing on the blade's edge at that point, and you'll be dealing quite a bit of additional damage. But once again, being low on health is a detriment in and of itself. You cannot deal a lot of damage if you are dead. And of course I will play a gladiator, so I am not necessarily tasked with killing people. What I am supposed to do is kill minions, or to be more precise, last hit them, since this is one of those games that do last hits, as most MOBA games traditionally tend to do. At least the more difficult ones. So I try to last hit as well as I can, and I think I'm fairly good at it. For my level of skill in games in general, I guess. I'm not great. I miss quite a few of them, but I'm decent, I'd say. Of course most people would say so. You know, Dunning-Kruger effect and all that. I get hit quite a few times, but I do sustain myself in this lane against 2 opponents, against all odds. They have quite a bit of CC. As you see, I do catch my wolf, and my Q deals damage to a target. It's not a skill shot. It deals damage to a target you are pointing at. With Smartcast, of course. And gives you a shield if you pick up the soul shard it leaves behind. Of course, the risky part is that you have to move closer to your target to actually receive the shield, otherwise you once again just spend health, not receive the shield. Once again, I catch the wolf, I regain some health. I'm getting pushed back quite a bit in this lane, but it's not a huge surprise to me. I am laning against two people and I am scared out of my mind. This is not something I'm used to. I'm used to playing support. I mean, maybe in some cases a predator, but once again, mostly supporting someone else, someone who knows what he's doing, someone who is experienced in MOBA games, someone to be the gladiator. I'm not used to playing the gladiator. It's one of the first times I have done so in this game, and in any game. This is not the sort of role I am used to, if you haven't picked up on that already. But I think I'm not doing terribly. I'm keeping even with them, I keep last hitting the minions in the lane. I'm not dying. I have not died a single time. Oh, and I wish to correct myself, my Q does not deal damage to me, it does not cost health to cast. Because it only gives me a temporary shield, it does not heal me either. It would not be a particularly good trade to spend your health and only gain a temporary shield in return. As you can see, the shield expires fairly quickly, and you are left with the health you've had. And that's one of the reasons I picked the Q instead of E at the very beginning, because it doesn't deal damage to me. This guy is brave, but he's fairly low on health, extremely low on health. In fact, I will use my Tailwind and kill him, because I can. I'm level 6 now. Ashabel Hill is level 4, and that guy was level 3. I am ahead somehow. Well, I guess that can easily be explained by the fact that I am laning solo, so I have all the experience over here for myself. Although the experience does get split between people in some fashion. There's still a decent amount you can get for yourself when you actually last hit the minions, so that's something that cannot be split between two people. But if you have someone as a tactician, they receive bonus vim from just standing near dying minions, so they don't have to last hit. They are in fact not encouraged to last hit. Even though they would probably get even more vim for last hitting than they would for just standing there, but they know that there's a gladiator most likely in lane with them who is tasked with last hitting and gets bonus vim for last hitting, so being considerate people, they most likely do not steal the last hits away from them, but rather just watch the minions die and try to poke the enemy heroes, which is what they also receive bonus vim for. Now these people unfortunately have somewhat evened up with me. Well, at least Ashabel did. She's level 6. This guy is still level 3. My wolf is now somewhat more upgraded, as is my Q. Soul Rend, if I recall correctly. Here's Moya trying to help me get Ashabel. Might be somewhat difficult to kill her, but I use my ult, which I have just gotten. And we'll probably not get Kagan, but we did get Ashabel. Very low on health, but he will, unfortunately, get away from us. I've scored an assist. I don't necessarily like assists all that much. Well, I'm just... I guess I'm role-playing the character as much. I think Fenmore doesn't appreciate getting assists as much as he does appreciate getting kills. It's not really much of an in-game matter. I went away for a while to get Desire, which unfortunately meant that I was unable to last hit minions in the lane and gain additional vim, but sometimes you just need to back away and buy some items. Items allow you to swing advantage further in your favor, allow you to get more vim. So you are basically not getting vim for a short while in order to get stuff which will allow you to get more vim later on. It's a decision you have to make. Either way, I got Desire, which gives me a lot more reasonable lifesteal, a lot more dependable lifesteal. Hunger is extremely basic in how it works. It operates on a cooldown, I believe, and it gives you just a tiny flat amount, I think. Either way, now that I have Desire, I don't have to worry about that all that much. I have a percentage-based lifesteal. And look at these guys. Kagen is a tank or a bruiser, and I can just run circles around him. There's not much he can do to me. Because I'm level 8 and he's only level 4. I missed my wolf. Oh well. Ashabel is level 7, but that's still behind me. Even though I'm not used to this role, even though I don't have the experience playing a gladiator, last hitting minions in lane and all that, I think I'm doing fairly well, surprisingly. And solo laning, most importantly. Because if you have someone there to support you in your lane, you may feel a bit safer. There's always someone there that might help you, that might fend off the enemies, that might deal some damage to stave them off. When you are solo laning, you do not have that luxury. You are on your own. You sink or swim alone. Here's our Moya, but Moya is a jungler. Indeed, she is helping, but she's not helping as a laning partner for me. She's just helping as someone who sometimes sneaks out of the jungle and spends a bit of her time and her buffs, perhaps ganking up. That was interesting. I sent my wolf over there without much hope, just poking, and she walked right into it. She might have even used her Q to get into the path of my wolf by accident, obviously. I don't think she planned on getting hit, but that's what happened anyway. Or maybe the intention was to get me, but at level 5, a 5 level Moya trying to kill a 9 level Fenmore? That's just asking for trouble. That's just asking to get killed. I can get Chaos, and I sure as hell will get Chaos. Chaos gives me haste and mastery and the passive. Haste means that I do things more quickly, so my cooldowns are lower, my basic attack is quicker, etc. Of course, whether the cooldowns get lower or more, or whether the basic attack gets quicker or more, depends on what sort of character you play, but both of them, to an extent, get improved when you get haste. Of course, mastery means that mastery means that my abilities deal more damage. They overload. And finally, the passive is that when I deal damage from time to time on a cooldown, Chaos deals a bit of damage to other targets nearby. It's a lightning effect of sorts. I don't think we'll... Well, we may get Kagen if we commit, which I don't think we should. Let's leave things as they are. I feel confident now, I'm level 10. Our opponents are severely underleveled, but I am still playing an unfamiliar role and a fairly unfamiliar character. Oh, shaper, I should say. So I do not want to push it. I really do not want to risk it too much. Let's just play it safe and win. I suggest killing the parasite. Evil Canadian, our Moya, our jungler, says that she does not have Smite, which deals quite a bit of damage to jungle minions, including the parasite. But who cares? Who cares? We've got the damage output, we can just outright kill it. It's not like they are going to stop us. They can't. I picked Drain because it gives me some lifesteal once again, you might notice a theme here. And it also deals damage to the target I pick. So it's one more way of dealing damage to my opponents. If they are running away and I want something that will deal a bit of damage to them as a dot, as damage over time, and will heal me, then Drain is a decent pick.
That was certainly worth watching. Bravo.
A triple kill occurred somewhere else for our team. So I think we are doing fairly well. Look at this Ashabel here. She's got a fairly high level for her team, but that's still 2 levels behind me. Oh, she barely hit level 10. Look at other guys on the enemy team. Level 6, 7 and 8? That's just very sad. Of course, she can still kill me. Especially if she coordinates with someone else. She can absolutely get me, so I need to be careful. I cannot just dive bindings blindly, especially since bindings deal quite a bit of damage. So we need to be extremely prudent. We need to be extremely cautious when being anywhere near them. Now, I am not implying that prudence somehow stands in opposition to bravery. No, I certainly do not. But there is a difference between bravery and outright recklessness. It is definitely not a virtue to be reckless. It only endangers everyone, it doesn't help. It's not something to be proud of. Okay, I have been caught in a way. I have been rooted. The King of Masks has used his ult on me, but I will still get away.
Kill more quickly.
I was in a difficult position, and our junglers called a double kill because of all of that. And they wanted me so much, and they would have gotten so much experience for killing me because they are definitely under my level, quite a bit. I get passion, which gives me life drain, and what is the most important thing about passion is that it gives me more life drain on abilities, which I adore using. The downside to my abilities is, of course, that they deal damage to me and that I need to regenerate the health. So if I regenerate even more health from using them, I can afford to take a bit more damage from my opponents, not just from myself using the abilities. I can be braver without being reckless. One more enemy binding falls. And we get one more step closer to victory. These people are level 7, 7 and 11, and I am level 12, which is quite impressive, I do have to say. I finally pick my W, which basically cancels any...
Your dance risks an early close.
It cancels any crowd control effects on you, so any slows, any roots, you just get out of them safely. Of course, you spend health doing so, so it's fairly risky in certain circumstances. But it may be worth it. If you're just rooted and do not want to take additional damage by being a sitting duck over there, you may use your W to take some damage preemptively and run away, instead of just sitting there motionlessly. And I get rooted again! I refuse to use my W in most circumstances, but I use my Drain. Drain, of course, deals damage and restores health to me, and I use my ult as well. Unfortunately, the enemies are quite far away, but I use my tailwind to catch up to them. They will successfully disengage from what I can see, unless they truly are foolish. And now listen to some Volok quotes.
Some of it's funny, righteous.
Burly, King of Masks gets away with his flourish. Otherwise, the dragon would have crushed him. Things are going extremely well for us, as far as I can see so far. It's time to go back and buy a few more items, I guess. There are quite a few things I would like to get.
Disgraceful behavior.
But for now I cannot afford a lot, so I get Command. Command gives me additional either power or ability. Additional power, definitely. There's no such thing as ability power in this game. It gives me additional power after using an ability. In other words, if I use an ability and then I use a second ability, the second ability will get a bonus to the damage it deals. Which is quite nice. Oh, someone here is messing with our spirit well. I do not like that. Oh, Ashabel, you need to be stopped. You're out of control. Stop taking our spirit well. This is our spirit well. Who do you think you are?
Disgraceful behavior. capable.
You're stronger.
I know it's a game, I can dissociate fairly well the gameplay from the story, but damn. That was fairly moving. And again, it might just be me being overly emotional as I tend to be. I don't know. How did you guys feel when Ashabel fell to the ground, only saying, "Hold my hand"? And saying it to Fenmore of all people, who isn't particularly known for empathy. No, he's more of a man of reason.
This
A
is
fairly ruthless man of reason. It's very practical and pragmatic in all he does. And here I cut off Valiant's escape path. And I would have gotten Moria too if it wasn't for that pesky surrender.
I shall dedicate my next performance to you.
As it should be. As it must be.
It was a short match and our opponents were on the back foot for most of it, but I still think it was a decent one. Bye guys.